abruptly, but yeah.
The Board of Park Commissioners Board meeting for the date of Tuesday, June 24th, 2025 at 10 a.m. is now in session. Let the record reflect that pursuant to Indiana Code 5-14-1.5D, the Board of Commissioners of the Gary Park Department hereby certifies that it did hold an executive session, and that the only things discussed at the executive session were those things that were specified in the public notice. Roll call.
Commissioner Harrell,
Present.
Vice President Cook,
Present.
President Gardner.
Present. We have a quorum and we'll continue. We'll now have our pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would address your attention to the minutes dated for
May 27th.
May 27th. Are there any questions?
I have none.
None here.
Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chair, I move for passage of the minutes.
Second that motion.
Roll call.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes. Motion is carried. I'll now address your attention to the claims listing. This is a claims listing from May 23rd through June 20th. Madam Director, items numbers 7 and 8. Could I get a little information on those? I'm sorry, numbers 8 and 9. One is for $125 and the other is for $225. They were reimbursements for emergencies.
So item 8 and 9. Okay, that is for Roosevelt Park Pavilion. The young lady had an emergency and she could not fulfill the park rental. So we were able to give her a refund of $225. As well as the second item, number 9, that was for a repass. The family went in a different manner. For $125, we gave her a reimbursement as well.
Okay.
This item number 10, right below number 9 that you just spoke on, the Indiana Department of Homeland Security inspection application fee. What would they be inspecting?
That was for our elevators.
Okay, all right. Homeland Security does that, huh?
Yes.
Interesting.
Are there any other questions from board members?
None here.
Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the claims list as presented.
Mr. Chair, again, I move for passage.
Second that motion.
Roll call.
Commissioner Harrell.
Yes.
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes. I would address your attention to payroll.
Our payroll clerk for the second
I don't see it
portion
in there.
is on vacation, so she was
Okay.
not able to send us the June payroll, but I will share that at our next board meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Takes us to our legal report.
Thank you, Pastor. I believe we have a couple more contracts. I'm trying to make sure if I can find those. In
This
fact,
one.
Ms. Harris, did we ever get Josh's taken care of?
No, it needs to come forward.
Do you have that one with you?
Yes, I
All
do.
right. Oh, okay. So, what are we doing now?
So, for the liking of Josh, we will only be approving the landscaping and no construction work because he's not a licensed contractor. And I did speak with Ms. Harris concerning that.
Okay, so then, we need to just amend it. So, but we also had another one for him too, right? We should have two for Josh. The
Yeah.
one that you sent over.
Yes.
Okay,
the only
I don't
one.
have that one.
Okay.
I need that one too. All right, so we'll start off with the lawn care for Rough Hands. And as it relates to Rough Hands, the director has realized that it was not enough in the contract for them to successfully do all of the parks that they were assigned to. So she's asking that the contract be amended from $25,000 to $40,000 for Rough Hands.
And it's almost double. We were that far off with our initial, or did we add more responsibility?
So the first initial cuts were getting the parks in shape because the parks had overgrown, weed whacking and greening the different park pavilions,
So this is literally a maintenance.
maintenance as well as cutting. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And for Jewel Parks only.
Yes, these are only for the jewel parks throughout the 6 districts.
Any other questions from board members?
I have none.
Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the contract with Rough Hands Landscape LLC, not to exceed $40,000.
Mr. Chair, I move for passage of the amended contract.
Second the motion.
Roll call?
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes. Motion is carried.
I will also ask that our Chief of Staff, Mr. Dumas, comes up to discuss the MOU that we had looked at regarding Leeds Park.
Thank you, Board, Mr. President, Attorney Monroe, we appreciate it, Director Matthew Fitzgerald. Before you, you have an MOU that we have with Keon Henderson's nonprofit. Keon Henderson is a native, born and raised in Gary, Indiana. Approached the administration about wanting to support, learn about the momentum and some of the great things that are happening. Grew up here and said, how can I help be of a support with tangible resources? After further some conversation and understanding the lay of the land and where he grew up at, discussed one of his parks that he played basketball in, which was Reese Park, which is just east of the McDonald's or Grant Street. And so we began to talk about this and how we could be support. And so before you, the MOU discusses Mr. Henderson's ability to make an initial investment of $100,000 into the park that would redo some of the resurfacing, sidewalks, landscaping, lighting, and hopefully some additional revisions to the actual playground in that park. And then a long-term investment. As a part of that investment, we wanted to show our appreciation and support and also adopting the renaming of the park after Mr. Keon Henderson. Again, a little bit about Mr. Keon Henderson. He is a native from Gary, currently resides in Houston. He oversees a large church and congregation as well as his nonprofit in Houston. Has had a sound image and reflection of what we think the best of Gary has to offer for natives and individuals from here. And again, wants to only make that investment and support back to his hometown. He said he's done similar projects like this in Houston, but he felt that it was necessary to bring some of those same attentions and resources home. So we appreciate him reaching out. If the board would do such a pleasure in adopting the MOU, it would only just begin the stages of ensuring great investment back from the people who have the resources from our city, who've raised some of the best that this country has to offer.
Questions or comments from board members?
I have none.
None.
I know Reverend Henderson personally, known him for a lot of years, and I think that this is a wonderful example of Garyites who are doing well all over this nation. Looking back home and saying, well, maybe I can make things a little better where I came from. And so, I will entertain a motion that we would approve the MOU, concerning Reese Park and, both the adoption of it, the work on it, and the renaming of it as, Keon Henderson Park.
Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this MOU as explained to us.
I second that motion.
Roll call?
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
President Gardner,
Yes. Motion is carried.
And, President, we do have some more, I believe, I'm not sure how we didn't get them here, but I think, the director wanted those. Are those needed for this one?
What we can do, the one for Marquette needs to be revised.
Okay.
And then we have the other one for Josh that I'm not seeing in email.
You have, okay, we have one for landscaping, for Howell Park, and I believe you had one for landscaping for, what was it?
Tallest
Tallest.
Park Pavilion.
So do you want me to present those?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, so we do have, some proposals, and, the director can explain to you why she wanted these done, and they're for landscaping for some of the jewel parks.
So, our jewel parks, as you know, are under reconstruction. So what the city and as well as myself wanted to do is start beautifying the parks by bringing on a landscaper to start on the outside of the park pavilions and making it more inviting for rentals. So we have Josh Landscaping who will go from each district during the outskirts of the pavilions. We'll start with Tolleson, Park Pavilion, Roosevelt, Ironwood, and so on.
And what I have, with the contracts that I have, are one for the Ironwood, and the proposal is not to exceed $6,000. And I would just ask that the board vote on that one today, as well as I have one for Tolleson. And the Tolleson one is not to exceed $5,700.
Did we request bids on that? Or did we put that out for?
Well, we wouldn't have to put those out for bid for that smaller amount. You would have to get, I believe the city, you all did request 2 proposals.
Yes.
You have to have at least 3 proposals.
Okay, is there a scope of work available? And the reason I'm asking is that based on the size of Tolleson Pavilion, Ironwood, $6,000 in landscaping on Ironwood Park just seems to be.
So, just to reiterate, the scope of work is for the front part of the pavilion and as well as to trim those hanging trees in the front of the pavilions.
Well, what if we could you ask your secretary to get the proposals? Because they had laid everything out on the
Yes.
proposals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can just come back to those.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
let's table that and
We
we'll come
Come
back
back.
to it. I just,
Okay.
I just,
Absolutely.
because they're not,
No problem.
the small places, and it just seems like a lot of money to.
We need the documented exhibits to look at.
that we-
Okay, we'll share those.
And that would conclude my reports.
All right, that takes us to administrative reports. Aquatics,
Okay, our aquatics director is off on FLMA, but all of our lifeguards has started on the beach as of May 31st, and they're doing an excellent job. We did have a child that was drowning, and one of the members of the lifeguard team did bring them back, and the child is doing well now.
Are the buoys out as well?
The buoys, we are scheduled for next week for those to be installed on the beach area.
and they're under your supervision presently?
Yes,
Or-
sir.
Okay, all right. Hudson Campbell?
Hudson Campbell job posting has been posted on the City of Gary website. If anyone is interested, please visit the City of Gary website and apply for the position of Hudson Campbell Director, and please attach your resume. Thank you.
Marquette Park.
Okay, so,
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. This is a June 23rd management report. Basically, you have had 12 events starting June 1st all the way through June 29th. We had one whole building affair that was over 400 people in the whole pavilion, and it was very successful. Revenues for June up until the 12th was $5,610. There was also for you, a comparison between last year and this year as far as first quarter and second quarter. For 2024, the first quarter brought in $45,866.42. In the first quarter of 2025 was $31,239.97, a 38% decrease. Second quarter of 2024 brought in $31,466.75. Second quarter for 2025 brought in $32,001.21, which was a 1.6% increase. For bookings for 2024, the records were not available to me. I believe they're still at the auditors. But the bookings for 2025 in the first quarter for 24, that should be 24. There were no wedding packages, 4 in the ballroom, 4 in the lower lounge. For second quarter 2025, you had 2 wedding packages, 16 in the ballroom, 5 in the lower lounge, 4 in the lower terrace, and 1 for full building. To give you an idea of that activity is going on and it is growing. What might have caused it to be more for 2024 is that usually you'll have bookings for the rest of the year, and sometimes for the following year will place in January, February, and March for the following year. So that might be why it was so much in that, in the first quarter of 2024. I had the privilege of attending the Leadership Summit on June the 20th. It was really, really wonderful. I learned a lot, and it was just fun interacting. So we really have to give kudos to our HR department. They did an excellent job, really. And for parking in Marquette, we're using the Park Mobile app, and they are working on the seasonal passes in order to be able to do it on your mobile app. And the first wind down Wednesday will be July the 2nd, and that's on the lower terrace, and it's from 5 to 9. And please note, no alcohol is allowed. It is different rules for this year. So please remember, no alcohol is allowed from outside. And July 25th, Symphony in the Park will be in Area 5. And then we look forward to the air show coming up in August. That's all. Any questions?
Questions from board
What
members?
are the dates for the air show?
For the air show, it's, believe it is the 9th and the 7th through the 10th.
So the 9th and the 10th is.
10th,
Ninth.
right. It's
Yeah.
public.
Okay.
Madam Superintendent?
August 9th and 10th.
Okay, did you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you, Dolly.
Thank you.
Park maintenance.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning,
Morning,
Don.
Don.
So besides our regular cleanup of the pavilions and that, which have been numerous, quite numerous, we have spent most of our time at the beach. And I can report that placement of the Park Mobile signs are almost all completed. Right now, we're working on the west parking lot of
Move
Oh,
over
sorry.
a little bit.
We're working on the west parking lot, the boat launch area. When that's completed, we'll start putting the signs out for that, and then basically it's just a little bit of fine tuning on, where we may need them, where they're lacking or anything like that. Just, it's kind of a trial. We've got a majority of them out. They're out on all the signposts. It just depends on where we may need some extra signposts put out there. The new safety stations, they're on every street and, public access point. They are all in. We have to do 3 more. When Dave finishes on the dozer out there towards Lake Street, we will put the rest of those in. The life rings and the ropes are installed. So we now are compliant with the new, state rule that we have to have public access or safety stations on every public access point. I repaired 4 of the 5 lifeguard towers. The 5th one I'm gonna have completed by this week. It almost has to be deconstructed. It's in pretty bad shape. The landing pad, it kind of all ties into the whole piece, so you have to take it apart to fix it now, but 4 of them are up. And so we'll have all 5 of them ready to go, I'm pretty sure by Friday. The public access points have been a bone of contention since I've been in the Parks Department. We are almost near completion on those. We pretty much are completed with those. There's some fine tuning that has to be done. The residents have let us know where we need to fine tune, and we will take care of that, as soon as the boat launch is open, which brings me to boat launch. Sand removal has begun. Dave Herman from the Gary Fire Department is the one, running the bulldozer, and he got a lot more done than he thought yesterday just on the launch itself. So it's moving pretty good. He had set a time for the end of June to be done, and it looks pretty much like we're on complete, we're on, course to keep that, to get that open. That's all I have.
Don, would you, share the incident that took place yesterday with us, please?
It was a couple days ago. The one reason that they're not all fine-tuned right now is a resident on Park Avenue decided that her and her daughter would stand in front of the dozer and not let him push sand anymore, because it was not something that she personally wanted. And so she actually called the police on him. And so he had to answer to the police on what he was doing out there. So he just decided to pack it in for that day, and we'll move on from there.
That was an opening up an access point?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from board members?
No, I have none.
So, I do. So we can now launch small boats
Well,
and jet
it's
skis from Lake
watercraft.
Street?
I like to say watercraft,
Watercraft.
because anything with a V on it is gonna be tough. What Dave's doing right now is, the main part of getting out there, especially with jet skis and that, is right when you launch, when you get it off the trailer. It has to be deep enough that so that there's not a drop when you're taking your jet ski off your trailer to the water. You want it to be, the trailer to sit in the water so that it just slides off of there. So what he's doing is the first, say 40, 50 feet of the launch, he's digging that as deep as he can. He's pushing it up right now to stop the water from coming in. The deeper we can make that first, X amount of feet that they can back up their trailer and it's sitting in water, that's really the main problem with with the launch itself, is because it sand fills in, the sand gets too high and it doesn't go. What we've also done, instead of going straight out to the lake, we've curved it to where, if you can follow this, the left or the right side of the mouth of the ramp where it goes into the water is to the left of the canal that you dig to start. And what it does is creates sort of a natural break wall, because when we get the north winds, that's what fills that boat launch up, is that the sand coming in comes all the way back to the parking lot.
Right.
By curving it and leaving that sand barrier there, we're hoping that only the mouth of it, where it enters Lake Michigan, has to be cleaned out, so the whole thing, we're not having to continually dig out 200 feet from the parking lot to the water. If we can limit that to say 40 or 50 feet, that helps us out, keeping it open continually.
Do we have a dredging tool out there too, Don, or is this just a
Just
bulldozer?
a dozer.
How does that work through, 3 or 4 feet of water?
It's amazing. I mean, what he's doing though, Commissioner, is he's pushing the water or the sand to that point and creating his own dam so that he can get all behind it. And then when we decide to open it up, then he moves that sand and then the water all comes. He's creating his own dam with the sand that he's pushing out there. Then when that's all down to the depth that we want it, he can move that pile away and then all the water comes back in.
Thank you.
Any
I can
other questions?
visualize that.
I can't follow it.
I
Thank
can
you.
visualize the
gave up.
concept, the reality.
Sorry.
I gave up.
That's as good as my layman's term.
Takes us to our director's report.
First, I would just like to thank the board and all that you do in assistance with to make our parks great. Also, I would like to thank our Parks Department staff members for what you do on a day-to-day basis. We do have Parks Department members off on FLMA, so I do appreciate Darcy and our Finance Department for helping out with our day-to-day operations, as well as Ms. Michelle. Today, I'm asking that the board approve the process that I take the bidding process to our Public Works Department, where we can start our asphalt in our jewel parks. So with that being said, that will start the jewel parks construction once those bids have been properly pulled from the process. Also, we have our landscaping contractor, as I mentioned earlier, who will be starting landscaping work on the jewel parks once everything is approved with his contract. Our parks events, we have our bingo, age-friendly bingo that was quite a success at Roosevelt Park Pavilion, and we will be hosting that every first Friday of the month, and the next age-friendly bingo will be July 3rd, and that would be a Thursday because of the holiday, July the 4th. That's at Roosevelt Park Pavilion, and that would be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on that Thursday.
Madam Director, did we ever get the lighting fixed over at Roosevelt Park Pavilion?
We are working with our city engineering on all the jewel parks and the lighting being reconstructed. We also are hosting our Northwest Indiana Learning Lab here at Hudson Campbell. If you're interested in your child coming to the Learning Lab, we just ask that you go online to Northwest Indiana Learning Lab and register your child. All services are free. The children will receive breakfast as well as a light lunch. And that's hosted here at our Hudson Campbell facility at 455 Massachusetts Street, Monday through Thursday. Coming soon, we are hosting an outdoor skating rink for our youth. We're looking at the baseball stadium because they do have the space needed where we can have concession for the kids and just have a safe environment for our youth this summer. The City of Gary is also hosting Food Truck Fridays here in our downtown area, and that would be starting this Friday, and that would be on 8th and Broadway. Our redevelopment department is hosting Market Day. This would be their second event, and that would be hosted also in our downtown area. So I'm really proud that our downtown area is being utilized, and we as residents or visitors can come out and do something fun and safe for this season. The 4th of July parade will be July the 3rd, And we'll be hosting that from 15th and Broadway down to 7th and Broadway, and we'll resume in the Buffington Park area. We also will have our field day July 19th, and that will be held at the West Side Leadership Academy. And that day will be touch a truck, food trucks, and different activities for our youth once again. We've spoken on our Park Mobile, which we have implemented on our beach area. We do have a demonstration sign here that I would just like everyone to see here. And just to give a little instructions, everything is done by your cell phone device. And for some reason your cell phone is not able to connect, we do have a 1-800 number, and you can call that number for parking details as well.
At the bottom there tells you the number.
Yes, the phone number is here, as well as the website for Park Mobile. The city is hiring an additional 6 attendants to oversee Park Mobile this summer season, so everyone must pay for parking. Parking is not that expensive. It will bring revenue to our city that is much needed, and this is something that we've worked hard to implement on the beachfront, and we just ask that our residents abide by and please pay for your parking. We have our beach patrol out as well, and they are assisting to make sure everyone is utilizing our Park Mobile. The beach cleaning plan, we are utilizing our Marquette Park Pavilion maintenance team. We are utilizing Hudson Campbell maintenance team, as well as some of the general services maintenance team will be assisting. General Services has been so gracious to the days that Republic Waste does not empty the cans on the beach, then they'll send a truck around to empty the cans for us. So we're collaborating with our maintenance departments throughout the city offices to make this happen throughout the city. Yep. Tonight we have a Parks and Recreation meeting, and that meeting will be held at the Gary Public Library on 5th Avenue, and the meeting is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that would be all for me.
Okay. Do we need to revisit the proposal on the asphalt?
Yes, so she didn't locate it, I'm gonna have to get it.
Okay, so, but basically what we're doing is that we're asking, it's not, it was a general services, and it's not general
No,
services.
Josh Landscaping to basically give us new landscaping around Tolleson Park Pavilion, just each one of our jewel parks, but.
But the asphalt, we started off talking about,
Oh, you all need to vote on that.
yes.
So, okay. So you wanna
You
put that
wanna
motion?
review that one more time so that we'll. be
Yes,
very clear?
so we're asking that the board grant us permission to take open the bids up to the public and take them before Public Works so that we can go through the bidding process and start asphalt on our jewel parks.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion that we will empower Public Works, did you say?
Yes.
To,
Yes,
yes.
Public Works.
yeah, I'll entertain a motion that the Park Board would empower Public Works to oversee the bid process and the bid process as it relates to asphalt and paving of the jewel parks.
Mr. Chair, I move the passage as explained by you as well as our director. Okay?
There a second?
Second that motion.
Roll call?
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes, motion is carried.
Now, I do have a copy, and I can read it to you, what they're proposing. They're proposing liners, heavy-duty liners, canvases, mold color rocks, plastic edging, and planning. The labor would be $1,200. The liner would be $750. The mold color rock is $195. The plastic edging is $155. And the plant, and it looks like it's 6 hydrangeas plants, 4 other spilled wine plants. I'm not sure about that when it gets us drinking. Lime fuzz and 6 additional plants. So it looks like it's going to be about 12 plants altogether. And that would be $1,500. And the delivery fee for all of that would be $150. Total would be $6,675, and that's for Tolliston.
That's a spill the wine plant. I have 2 of those.
Oh, you do? Okay. Spill the lime, not wine.
Spill the wine. They have a beautiful pink bud, a burgundy plant.
Have we seen any pictures of past work? Or is anybody familiar with work they've turned in?
Yes, Josh Landscaping has done several items over at City Hall, and they are working as we speak on the landscaping over there.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion upon the recommendation of our superintendent that we would approve the contract with
Josh Landscape.
Josh Landscaping for work at Tolliston, and it is one other place, right?
Yes, and I have the other one for the labor for, this is for Ironwood, $750. The mull rock would be $225. Liner is $550. And the tree trimming, I guess, is a couple. It looks like it's 5 trees they have to cut down, and that's $450. And the total for there would be not to exceed $6,000. It's $5,950.
I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the contract. What's the name of the company again?
Josh Landscaping.
Landscaping for work to be performed at Tolliston and Ironwood Pavilions, not to exceed specified amounts.
I move for passage of those 2.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Commissioner Harrell,
Yes.
Vice President Cook,
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes, motion is carried.
And that concludes our legal reports. Thank you.
Public comment?
Harold Smith,
Well, we need to have the presentation, I believe.
First, please.
Oh.
Regarding the proposal for Brunswick.
Oh, okay. Come on, who's in?
Stand over by the flag. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is Raleigh Mayberry. I am the Director of Community and Family Engagement for Lighthouse Charter Schools. We have 3 campuses in Gary, 1 in East Chicago. Our college preparatory campus is located at 725 Clark Road, which is right next door to the beautiful Brunswick Park. We were part of the Mayor's Educational Roundtable last year, and a part of the ask was that schools in the area would develop more sports programming for youth in the city of Gary. So what we have presented is an MOU for us to be able to utilize some of the sports spaces in the park, namely the baseball field, tennis court, and the basketball courts that are closest to our school building, to offer new sports programs for our students, but also develop programming for students in the city or children in the city of Gary. So what we are asking for is the opportunity to utilize that space in partnership with the city to help revitalize the tennis court, to help revitalize the basketball court, as well as using the baseball field area for practice for our flag football team. I have our athletic director here as well that would be able to, if necessary, speak to the specifics of our sports programming. In the MOU that we presented to the director, we did outline what we are asking for from the city, as well as what we are presenting from our school as well.
Any questions? Okay, according to how we kind of do things in our legal department, we will take your proposal under advisement, and we will develop an MOU
Okay,
based on our requirements and city statutes and laws, and then we will get back to you.
fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Carol Sia.
And the councilman wants to, oh, councilman. he wants to talk
Councilman,
to-
okay.
But I mean, he wait after Carol. Come on, Carol.
You sure?
We'll call you up, councilman. You wanna come sit on the front row so we won't miss you?
Wow, good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of
Good
you.
morning.
And my goodness, there's been a lot of work done. Is that good?
Right
We're
there,
good.
Carol, I think.
Okay. Anyway, the list is extensive and we appreciate the focus on the beach and the parking, so far this year. The park was full of cars. Every single spot was filled. Now imagine if every one of those people paid. Yeah, I know it's still coming down, but there are at least 400 spaces at just $3 an hour per car. That's $1,200 for one day. We had 2 or 3 hot days, right, for a weekend. If they paid for the full day, for 400 cars, 400 spots, that's $4,800 per day. So you could have easily made $10,000 this past weekend. I know it's still up and running, but that's the goal, and we're thrilled that you're eventually going to have revenue to help support the parks. So, there's just, I want you to know we did plant 30 shrubs at the Statue Garden in Market Park. We even had a volunteer go pick up all the plants and deliver them, so we saved that money. We had 7 volunteers do the work. The netting that you may have noticed in the grass where we restored the lawn was coming up and getting tangled and a mess. We had 4 volunteers, and I think Dolly even helped pull and cut that netting out of the grass. And next time we will ask for water-soluble netting so that it disintegrates through the winter. One question, and we had our annual meeting with Friends of Marquette Park, and we had 120 people there. We raised funds. It was a wonderful night. The pavilion was fabulous. We were upstairs because it was pouring down rain all day. The venue was perfect. The food was phenomenal. So, hats off to Dapper Eats and Dolly's staff. It was just a wonderful evening, and if any of you were there, I know Mr. Harrell was there and Mr. Cook. I think, no, you were able to get there.
Yeah.
But next year, please try to come. It was a delightful event, and we had a bird yard art auction to help pay off the tall ship sculpture. We've got 3 more years of payments to go, and then it's yours. One thing about the restoration of native plants, I know that Ms. Fitzgerald and the mayor were going to talk about increasing that contract. Just so you know, the Friends of Marquette Park is committed to help $2,000 of that. We've already approved it when she submits, but there's still $6,000 to go that's not covered. So it would be great to keep her going and doing the great work she's doing. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all I had signed already.
Councilman Williams.
Can I, lay back to my tie? I'm coming for the camera.
Please. Thank you.
This is gonna be,
Seasonal dress. Okay.
all right, I'm gonna ask the board to forgive the way I'm dressed, my attire. The air conditioner went out in my house, so it's like 93 degrees alone in my house. Right now, seasons, they're replacing the air conditioner, so this is how I came to the meeting. So, I just have a few questions related to Hal Park. Now, I did hear you mention that you're going to put the bid out,
Yes.
okay? Bid out for what date? To start laying the pavement by what day?
That would be after the bid is approved by Public Works, and then we'll have dates that will start with our asphalt construction.
The goal is to get it done as soon as possible.
As soon as
Sure.
possible. Okay, so that was, I guess I could say that could be the answer for the basketball court I'm questioning about for Howell Park?
Yes, sir, for the
Yes.
basketball and tennis.
Okay,
Yes.
well, the tennis court was working out. That's the rubbish that's sitting, it's been sitting in front of the residence home since 2018. When will that be removed?
We also have a contract that we're getting bids for the removal of the rubble that's been sitting there for 18 years.
Since 2018?
Yeah.
Not 18 years.
Seems like 18 to me. I've been around for 30. Yeah. So, but we are working on the entire park to get it put back together where our residents can enjoy it.
Now, Ms. Henry had said that some of those trees, due to environmental purposes, they cannot be trimmed down or cut down at Howell Park. Have you guys been able to figure out which tree it would be, which trees they are?
Yes, so Miss Henry, Brenda Scott Henry and her team will put a mark on the trees that can not be cut down, and then we'll just follow the environmental lead on that.
All right. Last question, I think it's the last question. The fence has been damaged from the storm with the tree falling on it. When will that be repaired?
We're just working on getting a contractor over there to make that repair, so that should be sooner than later as well.
Because I'm really concerned about that park. We've been trying to get that park together since I got in office, and Levita had it started in 2018, so that's a long time for a park.
Yes.
So what about the pavilion? You know what park I'm talking about, sir?
I have not been there.
Okay, Howell Park.
Okay.
Howell Park. What about the pavilion, the inside?
The inside work,
Outside patio, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Outside patio, grass.
So are you talking about the removal of the greenery on the
Well, it has to go
building?
down, I think you have to dig down, what, about 12 inches? And then replant grass seeds so the grass can grow right there?
Okay.
The two areas, you laid cement on the patio outside.
Yes.
There's should be two grassy areas there.
Brian, can you come up please and speak on this?
When that was filled in, it was supposed to be clean fill. It obviously wasn't clean fill. It's got a lot of rock and stuff like that, and it's basically firm packed clay with rock in it. It needs to go down about 2 inches with some topsoil on the top, and then you can seed it. The only thing only kind of growth you're gonna get is weeds in that right now, and so you just have to remove a couple inches. I mean, you want your root system to be about 2 inches deep at the least, and that's what it would take.
Okay,
So,
Okay.
when will we start on that?
So let's get a quote for that, Don, right away. Let's get a
well,
quote.
that would be with the ARPA stuff, with the contractor.
Okay, no, that's no problem.
Yeah.
We could get a quote. We'll get several quotes on that, at least 3, and then we'll start that process along with everything else. And as the president stated, we're at the point now, we want this done as best as you do, so,
My goal was trying to have that park functional this summer.
yes.
So at least we're gonna have maybe one closing summer event out there with the family. So we're gonna family arrange it, at least around, say what, August?
I won't promise you a date, but as I stated, we are working diligently to get this done. Once it goes before Public Works, they approve our bids, and then we're moving on with the start of contractors out
Other
that
than,
part.
other than the paving, most of the things that you mentioned are not major efforts.
Okay.
And so, our goal is the same as yours.
Okay.
We wanna get them open as soon as possible, and definitely our push is this summer.
Okay. The fencing should be closed off around that park, it's open.
So that was one of Councilman requests to close the back of the entryway of the building off. So we'll just have to add so much.
Yeah,
so many foot of
that wasn't
fence.
a part of the original work for the area, so.
When we started putting that fence up, the scope of the work, we said all the way around, it's not to the open part.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll take a look.
Okay, so taking a look and actually effectively doing something?
Well, that's the goal. We're not on opposite pages.
Okay.
We want to get it done.
Okay.
We want our
I just don't want
citizens.
anybody coming on the property as we're trying to bring it up.
Right, I understand.
Because we did have to, I know you guys had to go over there, remove shoes up top of the shelters and things of that sort, and broken liquor bottles around on the property. It shouldn't look like that.
So hopefully you see the small improvements that the Parks Department and General Services has made over at Howell Park. The grass is being cut. Also, we designed the small storage garage at the rear of the building, as well as in the front. And we also did some landscaping beautification to the park.
Great.
So we are, believe me, we are in process of getting that park, along with the other jewel parks, completed.
Okay.
So, I know the council wants to talk to the department about a date that, we could say, when we can all focus on, and figure out what's going on with the rest of the parks as well as my park. What day could we pick a date so we can meet, or do we have to, let's have the president call on you?
Please send us a calendar invite and place 2 dates on it, and we could share it with the Parks Board if you would like.
We have a park meeting today, don't we?
Yeah, and we also have the council is hosting a park and recreation meeting, this
Today,
evening.
right. I know
Yes,
it's
sir,
6 o'clock,
from
we
6
have
to 8
We have our
p.m.
meeting as well, our committee meetings today.
Yes,
So that's what I'm asking for a date.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, if you all could just send us 2 dates where I could share with the Parks Board, and we will sit down and meet with you.
Okay. I appreciate that. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any closing comments from board members?
I'd just like to ask a question. Where again are we with under unfinished old business with the wetland swap or whatever that was we were going to do, whereas we can then gain access to those dollars that have been not made available as a result of what happened on 25th Avenue?
Yes, so redevelopment, as well as myself, met with Allstate concerning that appraisal and where we are now. So the state is reviewing our paperwork. And once the state give us approval, then we can move on and we'll be in compliance. So we're just waiting on the state of Indiana to give us the approval at this point. All paperwork has been turned into the state.
Any idea how much in the way of funds we'll be able to have access to as a result of that satisfaction?
At this point, I do not know that dollar amount, but that is something I could ask.
Okay. Madam Director, you got any closing remarks?
No, just would like to thank you all again for coming out to the Parks Board meeting, and please visit our lakefront. Take advantage of the jewel that we have at Lake, off of Lake Michigan, and just have a safe summer. Thank you.
All right, I want to encourage our lakefront is packed right now. The heat has driven many people to refresh and relax at our Lake Michigan area. Parking lots are packed. Please pay attention to the signs as to where you are parked. You cannot park in the bike lane. Cars have been towed. Please pay attention to the parking signs. Please use the mobile app and pay for your parking. It is being monitored, and cars are and will be ticketed if it is revealed that the car was not paid for in terms of parking. Those proceeds benefit the entire park department of the city of Gary, and therefore will ultimately benefit the entire city of Gary. So, with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second that.
Meeting is adjourned.